What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to give you a good breakdown of what the data points is saying, where things might be going from here, and some very much abnormal buying that's been happening and what that might mean. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So as far as the intraday chart that happened on Thursday, you see a massive spike. It did actually break past the $13 range. It got to around $13.04, did taper down a little bit, and this is where some very big buying did happen. And I'm going to share that with you. So this is all the transactions on the dark pool, which of course the dark pool is designated for mostly institutions to just trade amongst each other, but there was a lot of abnormal buying that's been happening today. But I just want to draw your attention to these two. So there was most likely a duplication of actual orders, but 80.4 million for one at a price of $12.37.5, and another second order of $80.4 million at a price of $12.36.5. So clearly behind the scenes, someone must know something. Like, nobody just buys 160 million for no reason. They buy it because something is potentially coming out in a very short term. And when it comes down to the latest round of 13Fs in regards to that, because I do anticipate this buying being very much either BlackRock, Vanguard, one of the big players in Lucid already, or potentially the PIF as well, just to add a little bit more of a rumor mix to that as well. They might be accumulating more shares. But again, that's a little bit more of a secondary topic. And when it comes to this though, as you can see right here, it's been kind of mixed. So you do see Wolverine increasing their position roughly about 24%, but that is puts. So they are clearly betting against Lucid. You see a lot of the red ones, so getting fully out of Lucid. ProShares oddly even reduced their position roughly about 12%. Simplex did increase their calls by 6%, but 77% of their shares down. So very much all over the place as well. And you also do see SG Americas increased 543%. But keep in mind, all of these transactions did occur during the Q4 when there was a lot of fear and very much uncertain time. So again, you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. As far as the options activity over the last little bit, oddly very much optimistic. So you do see a lot more calls being purchased. Of course, this amount isn't retail. This is more institutions or shorts. I'll give you an update on shorts as well. But based on the options chain, it does look like around $13, $12.50 might be where potentially things might be going, or at least where people are assuming it's going to go. And as far as shorts, I'll give you a quick update on that. So short score is currently 89, so that's really dropped over the last little bit as well. Utilization is 100%, and as far as what shorts did on Thursday, they ended up returning 2.8 million shares. So most likely that is that immediate spike that did happen at the very beginning of the day. Cost to borrow is also at 30%. Cost to borrow max though is at 176.05%. And there is a broker out there that's really trying to incentivize shorts to really double down against Lucid because they're charging 0.07%. So again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But still, fundamentally, as I always say, Lucid can have a very good squeeze. It just needs a very good catalyst. And of course, if they would have come out and actually validated that whole rumor that was floating around, then yeah, Lucid would have easily squeezed. But it looks like the PIF and both Lucid just stayed silent, which of course, I think when it comes down to Lucid, a lot of people are very much used to that by not having any PR whatsoever, and Peter just basically staying silent. So again, it is what it is. As far as the technicals, I'll give you a good breakdown of that. So on the actual chart, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages. Bollinger Bands are stochastic and momentum. Momentum number of retail investors basically have been getting out ever since that rumor. Stochastic, you can see it was very much overbought, went to now a little bit more neutral, maybe if it does continue down a little bit further to potentially oversold, but there is that deviation that's starting to merge right now. So red line above the black showing overall, despite it going up and rallying here, there was a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. And looking on the actual chart though, it most likely will continue to trend down to around the, it looks like the 100-day moving average, which is around $11.15 in reality. So most likely it potentially could just be within this range as far as a wedge, depending on what does happen. For instance, if Lucid does come out and actually says says no about the rumor or whatever it might be, it might actually cause it to go down and kind of be wedged between these two. So the 100-day moving average and the central Bollinger Band, which is around $9. Of course, before it did rally, that's exactly where it was, around that $9 range. So that might be a very realistic thing. I know a lot of you might not actually want to hear that, but that's just based on the technicals. And of course, if there is no news, it just follows the technicals. So of course, there's a lot of different moving factors as well. Tomorrow there is also going to be, or tomorrow meaning Friday, which of course is when I'm going to be putting this video out, there is going to be non-farm payroll, and depending on the circumstances and the data from that, that definitely could be the camel that breaks this resistance or support at that stage. So again, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. On a side note, let me know, who do you think did this? Who do you think is buying $160 million worth of Lucid? So again, let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. And with that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.